All right, exactly. Back, back in town. Oh, well, actually, let me rephrase that. Back in the country, I was actually out of the country for all three holidays, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and for New Year's. So, I got back. It's 2009, starting off the year and everything. But yeah, I was over in the Philippines and I went over to Guam. I was over in there and a lot of time on the airplane flying over the Pacific Ocean and a lot of things going through my mind, and my experience wasn't all good. It was fine. I was over there for a wedding, uh, and for just meeting a lot of my girl's family because she's Filipino, my girl's Filipino, and that sort of thing. As well as we hang around a lot of Filipinos out here in Cali and that sort of thing. The weather's a little overcast or whatever. But anyway, I came up with this title, Filipinos Invisible, simply because of the experience and like some things I've heard. You know, um, I was really shocked. I was trying to get more information, about Filipinos as a people, as far as like the culture, the history, famous people, scientists, famous writers, artists, tyrants, stuff like that, you know. But I came up empty, and in a weird way, I actually feel more, um, in a weird way, a little bit more appreciative, of being African American than I thought I would be. I don't know why that came about, but it did. And so, yeah, I'm gonna make a couple of little quick videos and explain. Just kind of throwing some thoughts out here because I couldn't, for the life of me, I'm curious and hopefully I can get some responses back on this. But from the most part, like, I'll just start it off. When I say Filipinos, what do you think of? I know, not too much. Unless you live on this coast or, where a lot of Asians are, you probably don't know that much about Filipinos. Funny thing about Filipinos is that they're the most Americanized out of all the Asians, but yet nobody knows who they are, doesn't know anything about their food, like adobo, lagunisa, balut, dinuguan, you know, stuff like that. Get it your dessert, your halo halo, stuff like that. That's all like Filipino food and dishes and stuff like that. And I actually find that kind of strange. So I'm going to go through the whole gambit right now of all the other races or nationalities, and I'm going to just kind of just spit out a couple of things that when I say them, you might think of or you relate to, or you just kind of, there's something that pops into your head. You know what I mean? So let me start off with like, let's say Chinese. Okay, I'll start off with the Chinese. For example, when I mention Chinese, most people, even if you're in some redneck small town, or you're in Australia, or you're in freaking South America, most people know about Chinese food. Chinese people, Chinese food. Very simple, right? Kung Fu, everybody knows Kung Fu. There's Confucius, um, things like that. That's just like three little things right there. There could be more. The Great Wall of China, their history, the martial arts, things like that. Let's go to Japanese. From the Japanese, what do you think of? Let's start with their food. Same thing. Sushi. Probably know about sushi. Heard of sushi. Sake. Then you think of ninjas, samurai, the Bushido Code, things like that. Their turbulent and violent history. Well, I shouldn't say inventors, but they've got their cars that are out there now, but they've always been kind of known for their little ingenuity and that sort of thing. Um, let's see, their anime, their distinct art style with their uh, comic books and video games and things like that. So that's the Japanese. Let's say um, let's say Thai. Okay, Not maybe not a lot of people know about Thai. Maybe not 10 years ago. Maybe I'm just saying. Maybe not. Maybe not 15 years ago. But right now, um, there's Thai food, of course, which is phenomenal. It's probably my favorite, absolute favorite out of all the Asian food that is out there. I like all of them, but it's just the way that it's seasoned is really, really good. So they have a really distinct fighting style too, called Muay Thai. If you know anything about MMA boxing or MMA fighting, I should say, is that there's a lot of Muay Thai fighters as well as Muay Thai techniques and things like that. Their women are pretty damn sexy too, I must add. But I think for the most part, everybody's kind of heard of Thai food and Muay Thai, and it's been used in even in movies and different things like that. So a little bit of history there, as well as for those of you who like porn, of course, there's a whole big Thai sex trade over there. So there's three things right there. So let's jump over to Koreans. There's Korean barbecue, there's North Korea and South Korea, the whole terrorist threat. So America keeps Korea in your minds and that sort of thing. North and South Korea. Kimchi, you probably think of that as well. They have their martial arts too, which is Taekwondo, a lot of foot action. Also, too, they're really big in electronics. If you didn't know or not, Samsung is Korean. They even have, they're really coming up with a lot of technology right there with Japan. So even LG, which sounds like a American company, that's Korean. Life's Good, LG, makes cell phones and other electronics. That's Korean. And there's some other Korean electronic manufacturers on a global scale that's doing pretty good. And also they've got a really big video game market there as well. And let's just move on to the next one. Let's say Vietnamese. There's Vietnam. So there was the Vietnam War. That we still have people who are still alive who fought in the Vietnam War. So that kind of clicks in your head, as well as if you're lucky enough to be around some Vietnamese people from an American point of view, the Vietnam War was big, as well as the food is really good too. They have this soup called pho, which is probably the best soup I've ever had. There are some that are close to it, but pho is just it's the bomb diggity. It's so good. So, and their women also pretty damn hot and pretty damn sexy, I would say so. So there's that, and that's most of the Asians. Once again, when I say Filipinos, what pops into your head? Can't really think of too much. Okay, let's jump over to like South America. South America, you've got the whole background with the Incas and the Mayans and the Aztecs, their whole history, their writing systems, the Mayan calendar, 2012. They're even making a movie about that. The human sacrifice, their pyramids and things like that, and a great leader I think everybody should know, named Montezuma. He's pretty famous. He's been in the history books and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna jump over to part two and finish up, and I'm gonna start with India, and then we'll just keep this ball rolling.